What's up, everybody? My name's I'm a Slinky here, and today, guys, we're going to go over all the mercenary stuff here coming in the 22.20 patch. Guys, I'm super excited about this coming. I have been wanting some new mercs recently, guys, and ooh, it's so nice to get some more grinding going on those mercs. I'm super ecstatic, guys. We're gonna jump right here in a moment, but I am ready to do some more on mercs, guys, and I hope in the near future I can get some content on it. But for now, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let's jump right in. The new mercenary heroes are Belinda, Captain, Galvingar, Lokalar, the Ice Lord, Sinestra, and Wratheon. Before we get into these guys, I want to talk about these other zones. We got some new zones of Alterac Valley. Alterac Valley is going to be our new zone. I'm very ecstatic to see that to a fifth slot under that new one. So Rovat Grim Totem, Lewis Phillips, Captain Galvingar, Popsy Cooler, Lokalar, the Ice Lord, we have him, and Drekthar. I'm glad Drekthar is in this. And then here are all the heroics. The trading hall arrives, ladies and gentlemen, and unfortunately, I don't know what any of this means. So for those of you who know this stuff a little bit more than I do, you guys will probably enjoy this a little bit more than I do. But yeah, let's get into these mercenaries, guys. I'm pretty hyped to get this started. So Belinda, so all these are going to be released on January 25th. The mercenary skins, there's a few of them, and then you can earn them through the loot and the mercenaries packs. All right, let's get right into this. Flame Dart Tears. So Flame Dart is the hero power, or one of the abilities. Deals X damage to a character, give them +1 frost weakness. So now we have some frost weakness. There is another thing that has weakness in here that I'm not going to say here, but frost weakness is one of them. All right, the next one is Frost Dart. Fire weakness. So now we have deal X damage, give them +1 fire weakness, and that's obviously probably going to grow as they go. And then Frostburn deals X damage to all enemies, either gain +1 frost damage or +1 fire damage. So we can have a fiery frost comp kind of coming here, guys. I'm pretty ecstatic. And then the tiers are coming. The equipments of the tiers. Summon a 3/6 elemental that applies +1 fire weakness to characters it damages. So that's pretty solid. Obviously, you want the one that's a lesser fire elemental 4, and that's +3 fire weakness. Lesser water elemental 10/15 that freezes characters it damages. So not it's all right. And then Stormpike's Salvation. This, at the end of each turn, give all your characters +X health. So it's a passive ability. This is very, very strong. We'll have to see how that goes because the only thing that's been giving health is Cookie. So we'll have to see if it's enough of a health boost for whatever we see. So that's Belinda. Belinda seems pretty powerful based on what we've seen so far. And yeah, I think she's all right. Personally, I want to see how fire weakness and frost weakness works because we know how it works with the bots, but we don't know how it works with other players. So pretty ecstatic. And let's hit the captain now. All right. Rending Cleave. Attack an enemy if it has not acted this turn. Apply Bleed X and to it and adjacent minions. So this is pretty much Cookie's effect, but it's able to attack and deal damage too. So this is pretty solid, honestly. I like that. Fatal Strike 5, deal X damage to an enemy. It can't heal for 2 turns, guys. This is absurd. This prevents a lot of stuff from going off. This is the kind of stuff we were looking for. We know that Anduin heals. We know Malfurion allows healing. We know there's a lot of other things that allow healing. This stops it entirely, which is epic. I'm very, very ecstatic to see some ways to get no heal across the board besides Tamsin, who really isn't that great, honestly. She's not that great anymore, but that's super powerful, guys. I'm very happy about that. All right, Frightening Shout. It deals X damage to all enemies. If they have acted the ability they cast gains +1 cooldown. +1 cooldown is now pretty absurd. So now we have a +1 cooldown and anti-healing on 1. This is a very powerful Merc. I really, 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 really hope that we have a way to stop this because this is a little bit OP. Alright, Captain Galvingar, the Fury of the Frost Wolves. Friendly characters have +X attack. This is a nice passive ability. I wonder if this is going to be like maybe like for beasts. If that's the case, so friendly characters have plus attack, but it's still plus attack, right? So that's pretty solid. And then Drakthar's Boon. Fatal Strike also applies bleed, so bleed X, whatever that is, we don't really know yet. All right, Deafening Howl, I apologize. This shout deals X more damage, so it deals damage and then more damage. That's pretty cool, honestly. So let's expand. Here's all the stuff for the levels. I'll do a video more about this later, but I'll put this also in the description if you guys want to come look at this too. So, all right, Localar, I can't even say this. Mercenaries abilities, Hailstorm. This deals X damage to a random enemy. Repeat 1 time. So repeating abilities, we have ways to now deal a lot of damage across the board. That's really cool, actually. Being able to repeat stuff is super epic. Frost Shock. Deal X damage to an enemy. Their next ability gives them +1 frost weakness for that turn. That's really sweet. The only thing that I wonder is their next ability gives them +1. So I guess it's like frost weakness is like, I don't know. I'm not quite sure how that fully works yet. So we'll have to see how that works. Snowball Tears. Snowball. Damage increases by +1 each time another frost ability is cast. Resets after use. So yeah, this is really cool. This is a cooldown, so we'll have to see more about it. But yeah, I'm pretty ecstatic with the first two. This one seems a little bit less powerful, but the equipments, Icy Focus. This Hailstorm repeats X number of times. This is kind of good, honestly. Very, very crazy good ability. How good is Hailstorm going to be? We'll have to find out. Frigid Winds. After an enemy acts, gain +X frost damage until the end of turn. So we'll have to see how that actually affects the frost damage because I don't really know much of that, but frost damage, man, that's a thing. All right, and then Shroud of the Ice Lord. Passive. Friendly elementals have +X health. So this is probably going to be mostly an elemental, mostly build. Maybe there's something that where it's like a tech for it, but that's what we're seeing, mostly some X health on stuff. And again, I will put this in the description so you guys can come click on these. All right, Sinestra. Wrecking Swipe. Attack an enemy if you control another dragon, bleed. So this is where Alexstrasza might be able to become really good, guys. I think if we get to see how this works out, Alexstrasza can be pretty solid in the meta because fire and ice are kind of the main theme, and Alexstrasza is a fire, so we'll have to see how that works out. Mana Barrier. Restore X health to a dragon. Its next ability is 3 speed slower, so slower the ability, it's gonna matter, I guess, maybe more. We'll have to see how these affect the very fast meta that's right now going with Valeera and Vol'jin and Malfurion. We'll have to see how we change how they change it up with the slower abilities, because that doesn't seem like a good ability, but there's a reason why it's slower, and we don't really know why. All right, Twilight Extinction. Restore X health to this Merc at the end of next turn. Deal 1 damage to all enemies. So it's probably more damage as you go by, but deal some damage to enemies. Which is it's like a passive, which is super cool, honestly. And if you can get this going, this is pretty sweet. It is a cooldown though, so are you willing to do this, or are you willing to only do a few damage to it, or is it enough to kill a mercenary, right? Like, These decisions are looking a lot more and more for this type of ability that really can get you maybe a kill on a Merc maybe you didn't expect, or a kill that maybe someone forgot about. They're like, oh, we're there, whatever. So I'm really excited to see how Twilight Extinction really works in the meta. The equipments. All right. And hooked talons. Wrecking Swipe also applies bleed. So bleed is looking something like, bleed is going to be around the place. I guess they wanted to try something with Cookie because Cookie does some bleeding, and Cookie's been really good at it. So I'm really intrigued to see if this was inspired because of how well Cookie has been taken in with its bleed ability. Mana Brooch. Mana Barrier restores X more health and reduces damage by 1 this turn, so by X as well. So I'm really intrigued to see how this goes in, because now we have a way to prevent damage like Anduin does, right? For humans, this is across the board. So, preventing damage could also save a Merc, which means you're more likely in the game. This is really, really cool. This is a really powerful ability that I'm really excited to see how it comes out. Shard of Woe. Twilight Extinction restores 0 X more health and deals X more health, but has a cooldown. So more health and dealing more damage, but the cooldown. Are you willing to take that sacrifice for a cooldown? So we'll have to see how that goes on and see how the player base reacts to all this. All right. And then the last one is Wratheon. And this one was pretty interesting when I looked at it. Uh, Obviously, all these mercenaries you can get through packs. So packs are a lot more eligible. And I was trying to open some packs while before this happened, so that I can remove a bunch of portraits, so that I'm more likely to hit these kind of mercenaries. All right, the first one is Creeping Madness. Attack an enemy next turn, they must use a different ability or take X damage. So this is really interesting. So this is a fell ability. This is interesting because people continue to spam the same hero power, the same ability, the same thing for ways to keep mercenaries alive. Well, it's either you take damage, lose the mercenary, or save the ones that you want to save. So it's really interesting to see how this comes out, and how much damage are we dealing? Are we dealing 7? Are we doing 10? Are we dealing double digit damage for critical damage? So I'm really intrigued to see where Creeping Madness falls off. And by the way, this doesn't have a cooldown. No cooldown. So this is a really strong ability, for making your opponent have to think about, are they willing to sacrifice their mercenary to keep others alive, or are they willing to just, let the merc sack, or are they trying to protect it? So I like to see these kind of thoughts brewing in people's heads to see how this goes. Tail Swipe. Deal X damage randomly to the left or rightmost enemy. So not the most powerful ability ever, really, but I'm really excited to see, again, how this works. How are people going to react to it? Do people think this is bad? I personally think this isn't good, but but I want to see what we can come up with. All right, True Form and Felrain. True Form. This is probably an Anathema Benediction kind of ability. So this is a cooldown of 2. So probably what it is. True Form. Now I might misunderstand this, guys. So please bear with me with True Form. Become a dragon. Gain X health increased by damage dealt by this merc. Transform into Felrain 5. Become a dragon. Gain +1 or +X health increased base damage on this bird, and then transform it into Felrain 5. So I'm intrigued to see how Felrain works first off, but we don't really know. I guess this is kind of what it is, but it's maybe the same ability, so I'm not quite sure how we're gonna handle True Form, especially on a 2 cooldown. I just don't see this Merc really being played all that much, but for all I know, we gotta see what's coming. All right, the equipment. Chimera of Fear. Creeping Madness also makes the enemy X speed slower, so another slow ability. Now I'm gonna say this, guys. Maybe I'll say it. Yeah, maybe I'll say it now. Creeping Madness is very similar to Lich King. Lich King might be a little bit better, but I expect Lich King to be all over the meta once this comes out. This might be a bold prediction by me, honestly, but with how slow people are going to be, with how much things are happening, I just think Lich King will be more to everyone's level, and something that a lot of people might not have. If you're an F2P player, if you haven't played very much, like if you're able to get Lich King, you might be able to survive in this meta. So, uh, again, bold prediction, but I might be severely wrong because I've been pretty badly wrong on predictions. But this is what it seems like is all the slower abilities are coming. It seems like Lich King might be more volatile across the board with all these slower mercenaries coming in. All right, Black Dragon scales. Tail Swipe also applies Bleed X. So another Bleed ability, Bleed's pretty good, honestly, especially if you can get a couple crits going on it. So if you're able to get it, pretty cool. I think Bleed's a really cool mechanic, and I'm glad they're bringing more in. All right, the last one is Horn of Wratheon. This has no cooldown, so True Form has no cooldown. Also grants plus attack. So that's cool. I'm glad. I suspect this is going to be the tier 7 um, ability for what we're seeing here. So, we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, what do you guys think of the mercenaries? I think some of these are really cool. We have a Fel. We have a couple other couple other casters coming in. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit out of it at the moment. But yeah, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll put this in the description, like I said. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the Mercs update. I'll see you guys in the Mercs later. Peace, everybody.